now that certainly Trump took to the extreme point of talking about Putin, whom I've met and negotiated with on several occasions, as though he were a mentor, someone to be looked up to, someone to actually model yourself after. And there is I think it's a kind of yearning for a strongman government that infects some of the Republican Party. But why other Republicans, including people I served with 8 years in the Senate, whom I thought I knew, have been dragged into this Trump-Putin, bromance is beyond me. It's dangerous for our country. Our intelligence agencies have been putting out alerts for the last week saying the Russians are back. They're back in strength. They're interfering in our election once again. They're more sophisticated than they were in 2016. Pay attention. Don't get fooled. He is our adversary. He has been focused on reconstituting Mother Russia, if not the complete Soviet Union, for years now. He wants to undermine the West, and in particularly has adopted a strategy of dividing the United States against itself. So I look at that and cannot for the life of me understand completely what has gotten into the Republicans, but it's true and it's dangerous, and there is no way to predict what might happen if the election turns out one way. And we know that the promise has been made to pull the United States out of NATO. We know all of that. That's what we would have to be up against if it were to happen.
And you do predict. I mean, you have a very clear chapter in your book about what happens in a second Trump administration. The New York Times reported this week that Trump's efforts to pressure federal agencies to investigate his enemies, including you, were much more exhaustive and successful than we had imagined. He has promised to be even more aggressive in seeking retaliation against his enemies, perceived and real, his political opponents, in a second term. You've noted that presidential historian Douglas Brinkley said that a second Trump term could, quote, bring about the end of our democracy and the birth of a new authoritarian order. It's hard to imagine our democracy transforming into authoritarianism. Is it actually existential?
I think it is existential, and I say that based on what he says and what Project 2025 proposes as the agenda for a second Trump term.
May I interject?